Genesis chapter 40, KJV Trivia. Genesis chapter 40, question 1. Who offended their lord, the king of Egypt? A. The baker and the stable master. B. The butler and the stable master. C. The stable master. D. The butler and the baker. The correct answer is D, found in Genesis 40, verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Egypt. Genesis chapter 40, question 2. Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers. What did he do with them? A. He slayed them. B. He exiled them. C. He put them in prison. D. He fired them. The correct answer is C, found in Genesis 40, verses 2 and 3. And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers, and against the chief of the bakers. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard, into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. Genesis chapter 40, question 3. After the chief of the butlers and the chief of the bakers were in custody, the captain of the guard assigned them to Joseph, who attended them. After they had been in prison for some time, what did the butler and the baker have on the same night? A. A fever. B. A dream. C. A vision. D. A visitation. The correct answer is B, found in Genesis 40, verses 4 and 5. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them, and they continued a season in ward. And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream, the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison. Genesis chapter 40, question 4. After the butler and the baker had their dreams, they were sad because they had no one to interpret their dreams. When they told this to Joseph, who did he say all interpretations belonged to? A. God. B. Pharaoh. C. Pharaoh's magicians. D. Joseph himself. The correct answer is A, found in Genesis 40, verses 6 through 8. And Joseph came in unto them in the morning, and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. And he asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of his lord's house, saying, Wherefore look ye so sad today? And they said unto him, We have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpretation of it. And Joseph said unto them, Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me them, I pray you. Genesis chapter 40, question 5. The chief butler dreamed about a vine with 3 branches. As it budded, it blossomed, and its clusters thereof brought forth ripe what? A. Figs. B. Pomegranates. C. Grapes. D. Dates. The correct answer is C, found in Genesis 40, verses 9 and 10. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and said to him, In my dream, behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. Genesis chapter 40, question 6. In the butler's dream he squeezed grapes into Pharaoh's cup, and put the cup in his hand. Joseph told him that he would be restored to his position as Pharaoh's butler. In the dream, what did the 3 branches represent? A. 3 years. B. 3 months. C. 3 weeks. D. 3 days. The correct answer is D, found in Genesis 40, verses 11 through 13. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes, and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said unto him, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine head, and restore thee unto thy place, and thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand, after the former manner when thou wast his butler. Genesis chapter 40, question 7. The baker dreamed that he had baskets full of all manner of bakements on his head for Pharaoh. How many baskets were there? A. 1, B. 2, C. 3, D. 7. The correct answer is C, found in Genesis 40, verses 16 and 17a. When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head, and in the uppermost basket was there all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh. Genesis chapter 40, question 8. In the baker's dream, what happened to the top basket full of baked goods for Pharaoh? A. Birds nested in it. B. Birds ate from it. C. It fell. D. The bread was moldy. The correct answer is B, found in Genesis 40, verse 17. And in the uppermost basket there was all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. Genesis chapter 40, question 9. What happened to the baker on Pharaoh's birthday? A. He was let out of prison. B. He was still in prison. C. He was restored as the chief baker. D. He was hanged. The correct answer is D, found in Genesis 40, verses 20 and 22. And it came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants. And he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted to them. Genesis chapter 40, question 10. Immediately after the butler was restored to his position, what did he do for Joseph? A. Thanked him. B. Forgot him. C. Remembered him. D. None of the above. The correct answer is B, found in Genesis 40, verses 14, 20, 21, and 23. But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and shew kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh. and bring me out of this house. And it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him.